Whether she was playing a tattooed girl in Waterworld or the title role in Alice in Wonderland, Tina Majorino seemed to be everywhere for a while. So what has she been up to lately? From podcasting to TV acting, she never really went away. Before Waterworld, Tina Majorino's first big acting break came when she was 7 years old on the sitcom Camp Wilder. The show was part of ABC's TGIF lineup. However, Camp Wilder only made it to 20 episodes, the last of which never aired in the US. Camp Wilder revolved around Ricky Wilder, who's forced to raise her teenage siblings along with her young daughter after her mother dies. Majorino played the young daughter Sophie on the show. For her work on the show, Majorino scored a nomination for Outstanding Actress Under 10 in a Television Series at the 14th Youth in Film Awards. Majorino's movie debut came in 1994's When a Man Loves a Woman, in which she played the abused daughter of an alcoholic mom, played by Meg Ryan. She followed that as the similarly traumatized daughter of widower Ray Liotta in Karina. In that film, Majorino initially doesn't speak, but comes out of her shell when her nanny, played by Whoopi Goldberg, connects with her emotionally. Her third film, Andre, was less serious. In it, she played the human lead opposite the title character, a seal. Then came 1995's post-apocalyptic action film, Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner.
Gills.
Majorino played 9-year-old Enola in the film, whose back tattoo features an encoded map to the last bit of dry land in a post-climate change world. In 1999, NBC aired a big-budget all-star adaptation of Alice in Wonderland, featuring such names as Ben Kingsley, Martin Short, and Gene Wilder. The visual aesthetic of the film hewed more closely to John Tenniel's classic illustrations than most, with such touches as Short's head getting upsized for the part of the Mad Hatter. Majorino played the lead role of Alice. A new wrinkle to the plot had Alice initially terrified to sing in front of an audience. However, her adventures in Wonderland helped to cure her of her stage fright, and in the end, she goes ahead with the performance. Majorino had been a trained singer since the age of 7, but her previous roles had not generally utilized that talent. This time, she had songs on the soundtrack. Success on the screen doesn't always translate to the schoolyard. By the time she was 13, Majorino's classmates picked on her and made life difficult, so she stepped away from acting. In an interview with the University of Oregon's Daly Emerald, she recalled, "The best decision I ever made for myself was taking that time off to get to know myself, so that if I ever did decide to come back, I could be strong enough and grounded enough to know what's really important and what's not."
Most of my awkward years were not on camera, which was great, and I was able to go and live a normal life.
When she decided that she did in fact love acting, part of that confidence came from looking back at some of the serious movies she had previously done about broken families that heal. She told the Daily Emerald, "You have a lot of power, so therefore you use that power to do good. And I felt like I didn't want to give up on that, and I really missed the craft. I missed acting. I missed the research. All of that." Few would have guessed that Majorino's comeback role would be as big as it was. With a $400,000 production budget, Napoleon Dynamite was shot in 23 days and never expected to be a major hit. However, it took the 2004 Sundance Film Festival by storm.
I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
The deadpan comedy about weird, nerdy kids in a small town grossed over $46 million and spawned toys, merchandise, and a primetime animated series. While Napoleon actor John Heder may have been the most visible star, Majorino shined as his sort of love interest, Deb. Innocent, nice, and utterly without baggage, Deb is arguably the heart of the movie, sticking with Napoleon even as his antisocial nerdiness would push anybody else away. The two finally bond at an awkward prom to the strains of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time.
I like your sleeves. They're real big.
Thank you.
The character of Deb was based on the film's co-writer, Jerusha Hess. Her husband, Jared, who directed the film, based most of the movie on his own life experiences. As strange as they apparently were, those life events struck a chord. Majorino was back. When she was 13, Majorino emailed Veronica Mars creator Rob Thomas, who had put his email address in his first couple of books. She had read his books and wanted to ask him a few questions for a report she was doing. They ultimately met for lunch a year later and discussed working together someday. Once Napoleon Dynamite came out, Thomas was good to his word and wrote her into the Veronica Mars TV series and the 2014 movie as Cindy Mac Mackenzie, a computer expert. She also nabbed recurring parts on Grey's Anatomy and True Blood, and reunited with her Napoleon Dynamite co-star John Heder for the animated web series Psycho KO. As a child actress, Majorino had the usual sibling rivalry with her older brother, Kevin. As both became adults, however, they bonded over their common love for music. Together, they formed a band called the AM Project, in which she sings and he plays drums and guitar. During the COVID lockdowns, the siblings also started a podcast called No Pressure. The siblings announced the podcast on Instagram, writing, "The two of us wanted to create a space where we can talk openly about whatever is happening in our lives and yours without any limits and without any pressure. Career, food, love, aliens, you name it, we love to talk about it. Life can be a lot, but we're in it with you." In addition to podcasting, Majorino's acting career continues, although most of the projects she can't discuss, according to an April 2022 Instagram post. That said, it's probably a matter of time before somebody suggests a Waterworld legacy spinoff. John Heder also keeps talking about a darker sequel to Napoleon Dynamite, so we could see even more of Majorino very soon.